Oh, you'll have to hear some relaxing music, Tony.
Yep. Very
So this-
very bright background though.
I like it. It's quite relaxing. I like the
Yeah,
chill.
it's a good
Have you
sound.
ever looked at Vampire Survivors and went, "Man, this is too much interaction. I need to just move my mouse cursor around."
More waggle mouse-tastic controls. That's
So
yeah.
this is
More
Cursorblade, and the idea is I'm playing this wrong immediately, which I didn't realize because it's not really a tutorial, but.
Oh, you can't have your sword get hit by the angry enemies.
Yeah, so when they turn red, they damage you. So you're sort of like trying to weave in and out to attack them, which I did not understand. I was like, I thought the way you did damage was. I thought the way you did damage was by moving the cursor very quickly across the screen, but it is a lot more relaxing than that, I guess. So this is our first non-VR coverage of Steam Demo Fest. Usually what happens is I will show all of the shit things, and then I will talk about the VR stuff, because I'm like, well, the VR stuff is usually the shit stuff. So but we actually had some decent VR stuff that I played with my new VR headset.
Yeah, very surprising.
And I made a list of all the games I played, and I split them up into games I liked and games I didn't like. And I was like, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense if I make a tangerine that's essentially just, here's everything I did not enjoy, because why would anyone want to watch that? So Tony helped me split them into categories, and the categories of this video is roguelike survivors. Ever since Vampire Survivors, this year's just, there's been a huge explosion of people trying to create survivor-like games. The idea of this more casual roguelike game, I would say, where you're maybe it's sort
arena roguelike.
It's sort of it sort of started out as like bullet hell without the shooting. Was like Vampire Survivors.
Or like it was almost like reverse to some extent. Yeah,
I don't know. But this is Cursorblade, and the way you play this is you move your cursor over the enemy, and it. They keep putting that thing that says "wishlist, please" with a really sad-looking blob. I was streaming this to Jesse on Discord, and he was like, "You got to hit the wishlist button." I'm like, "I'm not going to do it. I will not be bullied into clicking a button by a sad blob."
I think ask for it once.
Tony, if you get offered the cactus build, you've got to go the cactus build. I actually thought the power-ups are quite cool. You have like you can get stuff that rotates around your mouse. You can get like damage over time. There's like a poison thing that does like AoE damage around your cursor. There's a falling star power-up that like drops a bunch of stars on the enemies when you attack them. There's one where it's like, I think it's called Porcupine, where every time you kill an enemy, it shoots out spikes all across the screen. I thought the power-up ideas were quite good. I mean, it's like a very simple, relaxing, like survivor sort of game, like an action bullet hell sort of roguelike game.
Yeah, I quite like the idea of moving the mouse as the damage thing. To be honest with you, that's not like now.
Once I figured out once I figured out that's how you play the game, then it was quite fun.
Because when you first play, I thought it's like, oh no, it's gonna be like you have to waggle it really quickly, but now it's like, oh no, you have to like kind of make sure you're not hitting enemies that are attacking. I think that's kind of interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna read. I just went to the community hub, and I'm gonna read one of the most recent posts on there. It took me good game. I feel silly. It took me a whole 3 days of frantic combat to actually stop attacking and watch what the game was doing instead of attacking. I didn't get any rounds that lasted longer than 2 minutes. I had to go AFK, and then I started a fresh game, and only then I realized the pink blobs don't just auto-take damage from you. I suddenly understood what the game meant by melee damage. I got through 4 waves, carefully watching the pink slimes. They don't just attack the screen. I've been playing this game wrong for days. I finally properly beat the demo. I was like, so yeah, it's not just me who was like, because there's not really a tutorial. So it's like, I just assumed you had to just wave the cursor around like a madman, that would deal damage. But no, my first thing that something's not right was like, oh, what's actually making you take damage? Is it? Because I was just curious. Like, it becomes a bit more tactical when you want to attack. Also, I got this cool power up where it attaches bombs to enemies.
Yeah, I like the idea of it being more tactful, like more like decision, like oh, is this the right time opposed to just like spamming it? I think that makes much more sense. So yeah, I
But then,
kind of
because
like this. It's almost like a puzzle.
the pink blobs don't attack you, but then you get enemies that start to shoot projectiles at you. So it is more like a bullet.
Cool.
It is more like a bullet hell. So you have to start dodging things while you're trying to weave in your attacks.
It's like light,
and there's
light
different. There's different like play styles. Like there was another blade available in the demo called the Stone Blade, where you have an ability on each blade. So the blue one has a dodge on the right click, which I didn't really use that much. But if you're about to get hit by a bullet and you press it, you can dodge it. And then I think the stone one was a bit more useful. I think you deal less damage on that one, but you basically summon a stone wall around you that blocks projectiles briefly.
Okay.
And then you also have more health for having less damage. So there is like different curses, I guess you would call them, for the different builds.
Different. I think it changes up how it plays for sure. I'll say is a light bullet hell just bullet limbo? Is that a
bullet limbo?
A pre hell?
Well, you've got to go the cactus build. You've got to go the cactus build. That's how I play all my roguelites, with cactus builds.
Yeah, it's true. We're pro cactus here. In between channel. Let's call it that. Yep.
Yeah, I thought this was like just quite easy, fast, fun, relaxing. It wasn't anything offensive. It was pretty cool. I'd recommend this to most people if you're looking for like a little chill little survivor game. I actually was surprised how fun this ended up being once I understood how to play the game. My criticism would be maybe a tutorial to basically just say, hey, don't waggle your mouse like a madman, and then you'll be able to play.
Maybe add a character like oh, don't waggle your mouse, just like as a fun nod or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think this this is different enough where it's like, to me, it's not competing or like, oh, what's the point of playing this compared to Vampire Survivor or some other games that have some different mechanics.
Yeah, that's Cursorblade, and we'll move on to the next one. We have Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. So DRG, one of my favorite mining games, announced that it was branching out into the survivor genre, I guess. You could only play as Scout. There was only one gun unlocked. I can't play as my main, the Driller.
Oh, is it? Oh, Driller your main, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I got a Prestige Driller.
My main is now. Yeah. I gotta say, straight off the bat, this looks great. In terms of graphics.
We were doing the test squad with you, and you're like, this looks great. Yep. And I was like, I got a hot take for you. Okay, from playing this demo, my initial reaction is, it's like Vampire Survivors, but not fun. This is kind of raw.
I was going to ask what's the actual gameplay like, but it looks, in terms of visually, it looks good.
Yeah, I really wanted to like this game, but I found myself not liking it a lot of the time.
It's a bit slow at the moment. Is that a part of the problem?
Yeah, so it feels a little rough. It's a full survivor game, so there's no aiming. I was constantly wanting to aim and shoot my gun, but I understand.
Yeah,
that's the Deep Rock Galactic in me.
But it doesn't have to be a survivor game. It could be like.
But it's a full survival game. So there's a gun that auto shoots. There's no aiming like in bullet hell.
But why not? Okay.
Like in 20 minutes.
In my head, why not have an auto shoot and an aim gun? That would be kind of interesting.
I kind of wish there was an option to aim. Like there is games where there's aiming and then there's options to turn off aiming, so you can choose between aiming and not aiming. But obviously that's just my point. So you can mine out the rocks to make paths, which is like, oh, that's a cool idea. But every time you spawn, so there's some mechanic of mining out the rocks to make way for when you get swarmed, right? And there's also these ores you can get. And ores let you buy upgrades in the shop in between runs. And then there's gold you can get, which lets you buy health and upgrades from the shop. So every single mission is based on a timer. So it's sort of set up like a normal Deep Rock Galactic mission in a way where you fight a swarm, you have to kill an elite, and then a dropship comes down, and whether you want to or not, you have to leave, and then you get dropped into a brand new map. Which is like very different.
The map keeps resetting.
Yeah, it's very different to like Vampire Survivors, for example. Which, but my problem is, it's they have this mining mechanic, but the game immediately swarms you to a point where I'm like, I literally can't pick anything up or do any mining. It feels like they
no
added
time to mine.
Yeah, there's no time to, because every time you're mining, you can't shoot.
Yeah.
Which
is why I'm thinking there should be an auto shooting thing that always happens, and then an aiming thing that swaps out with your pickaxe.
The way it works is you have guns, and then they have a fire speed, and then they have like a reload speed. And the more you upgrade the reload speed, the quicker they'll start shooting again. You can see the reload on the bottom bar on the red bar as it's reloading.
Right, the different. Okay, yeah.
And you can hold like up to 4 guns that unlock at different levels. So it starts off very slow, but I don't know. I always felt like I was constantly just running around trying to avoid enemies because I couldn't actually kill them, or I couldn't do any mining to get these materials.
The mechanic that's meant to make this different, you thought you couldn't do because of the way they are swallowing stuff. Yeah, that's a problem. Also, I don't know. The weapons don't seem very interesting to me. Do they get better?
Yeah, the weapons are just more damage, faster reload, or you can get like crit chance on them. There's like a cryo grenade that I got later that let you freeze enemies. There was like a boomerang you could throw that would come back. There is the classic magnet power-up that you get from Vampire Survivors that pulls in all the XP.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, as you can see here, if you haven't played a Survivor game like Vampire Survivors or something before, enemies drop this blue XP. You get this blue XP and lets you level up, which gives you access to a new skill. And it's basically like building a new roguelite character every run.
Yeah. Is it not annoying? Can you target the boss?
There's certain guns that fire in certain patterns, but not really.
That seems really frustrating. That's why I'd want an aim skill, is like having a boss.
I think it just shoots the closest enemy to you.
So
I feel like it's
annoying.
like, oh, I need to kill the elite, but I have to kind of stand next to him so it targets the elite, and then I can't do any mining, and it's like, well, here's the drop pod. I have to evacuate now. It's just like, okay, it kind of feels like you're not on your own timer. You're on somebody else's time playing this game, and it's like, okay, that can be an interesting mechanic, but
not in this, not in this sense.
The core gameplay is just not really fun.
It doesn't seem like it has like 3 different areas that don't seem compatible. I think I don't know. I feel like it could be fixed, but yeah, it doesn't. It's not working.
Like it has that cool thing of like in Deep Rock Galactic, you want to try different missions in different biomes because different biomes have different materials in them which you need for upgrades. And this has that where a lot of your permanent upgrades require certain materials. So it's like, oh, you need to get Morkite from here, or different materials from this biome, and it will lead you to be like, well, I could do a run in this area, but I kind of need materials from this area, so let's go over here. So it will lead to variety through the choice of missions because you're naturally drawn towards different areas to get the upgrades you want, which I think is a good idea, but yeah, just the core gameplay is not great in my opinion. It's like you're either mining, which means you're not shooting, or you're shooting, which means you're not mining. And it's set up to these multiple levels where you drop in, fight swarms, fight a boss, you get extracted to another level where you can spend your gold in the shop, and then there was one class and there was one map for the demo.
Okay. I would assume like in between the swarms there'd be so little enemies where you'd have time to mine, and then say like, oh, I need to stop prioritize mining because like this giant swarm that is coming.
But my current
also,
thoughts
there's not that much interesting enemies.
My current thoughts on this is it's kind of boring. It's like Vampire Survivors, but not fun. That's sort of my
with the different art style and different animations, but that's about okay.
I feel like you're constantly just walking around in circles. Like it's like, well, I can't go here because I can't get past these enemies and I can't mine, so I kind of just have to stand here doing nothing. Whereas you didn't get that feeling in Vampire Survivors. I don't know.
Always something to do. Yeah, it does seem quite flawed. It's kind of a shame.
Like I'm a big fan of Deep Rock Galactic, but yeah, I just didn't like this demo. That's just my initial thoughts on it. I put it in my category of games I did not enjoy. I didn't want to. When I finished my run, I didn't want to load up another one. I was like, let's try something else. So I think maybe I need to go back to the drawing board here and just try something new, like in terms of the core design, because it's not great at the moment.
Yeah, for
Let's
sure.
move on. Go Mecha Ball. I'm going to turn this one down preemptively because I remember recording it. It was very loud.
Okay.
But this is a action roguelite where you basically are
You got your name?
You're sort of like a pinball. Yeah, you have a gun, and that's like the main way you deal damage. And
Another little. Were you a cat thing? Like I'm trying to figure out what you are.
Yeah, I think you're some sort of.
Oh, so you're a Mecha
animal.
Ball. I know what that is. Just wondering what's inside the Mecha Ball.
It's Ratchet.
Some sort of some sort of animated furry creature.
So they're
not furry, just I don't know.
This is the tutorial. Let's skip ahead.
I like to look at this as well, though. By the way, like I like it looks mechanized cartoony mechs.
So
and
you can interrupt enemies' attacks by rolling into you. So you have like a you have like a charge on your roll, which is on a cooldown.
So it encourages you to. Well, you got a rubber duck.
That's my gun. Yeah, I got Bubba Ducky gun.
Okay. You got the duck gun.
And
so
then
you're encouraged to get right in the action because
you
really
can get
cool.
these abilities. So I took this ability to fire discs out on a cooldown. So you can have 2 ability slots as well that don't require ammo. I think ultimately one of my biggest gripes with the game is it has an ammo system, and you're basically rolling around, just shooting people, and then you run out of ammo and you have to like roll around and roll into enemies. But it just feels super awkward when you're out of ammo because I'm just like, oh, I'm shooting these guys, I'm having fun, and it's like you're out of ammo, and it's like, well, my dash is on cooldown, so I kind of just gotta either roll around or stand around here waiting for my dash to come back so I can try and get some ammo back. Like when it works really well. I genuinely think this game would be better if not had more ammo, maybe just had unlimited ammo. I actually don't think. I feel like this game might be more fun if you didn't run out of ammo. If I could just roll around really fast, shoot people, go into a ball, and then roll somewhere else. Like I kind of wish there wasn't an ammo mechanic in this game. I think it would be way more fast-paced.
Yeah, maybe like a base weapon with infinite ammo or something, and the rest have ammo. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like just having no ammo restriction might be the answer though.
Like I'd say, like the main gameplay was pretty fun. Like the actual, like when you go up the side of the map and then you're like kind of like flying in the air in like this 3D plane, it's like really cool.
There's a lot of polish on the screen shake and like the impacts feel impactful. Like I feel like they've done a good job with that.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah. And it's having fun as well. Like I feel like it's having fun with the saying and the idea. That's cool. Yeah, other than the ammo thing, it sounds like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was more like, more of like an open area rather than just. It is more like an arena shooter. Like you're in sort of like
a small arena as well.
This small arena, like imagine this, but you're sort of like moving around a big area, and there's just constant enemies jumping in and spawning, and you're moving around like a big map.
Or like maybe it could be like a map that like slowly adds more as you continue the mission, like another like level comes in.
That'd just split up into like small arena fights as you go along, sort of like a Binding of Isaac or a Doom Eternal or something, right?
Yeah.
That would be a cool idea to see. I think there's a lot of potential with this game, but currently I couldn't see myself getting it, sort of thing. I think it would more be like if I got this game in a bundle or on Games Pass, maybe I would try it, but
okay. Personally, I'm looking at this to go. I would. I mean, I'd have to try the demo first, but I would consider getting this personally, based on this. But yeah, I can see. Yeah, I think if it had more of a.
Yeah. We'll have to see. We'll see if what they do based on the demo feedback and before launch.
Yeah, because I guess we don't know how it's actually going to play out of the demo.
Do we have a release date for it doesn't have a release date yet, so
okay.
Yeah. Hopefully they polish it up a bit. I mean, if this is the intended vision and people like this, then I guess I'll just play something else. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world to not like a game.
No, it's just not for you, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, there is some. I think that I really appreciate the fast movement and the the quick shooting is really cool. But I wish it was even quicker. I didn't have to stop for ammo, and I could just keep rolling and keep shooting and keep going crazy.
Or have a better gameplay loop around getting ammo or something, or some solution. I don't know, but yeah, maybe just no ammo might be the correct one, or reload. I don't know.
So we have Lake of Creatures. Where's Scorn retorts when you need him? A fast-paced action fishing roguelite.
This is what we've been asking for. Clearly,
fishing roguelites. This is what we've always wanted. I'll immediately say I was not a big fan of this.
Because you hate fishing.
It just wasn't that. It's the fish from the nuclear power plant from The Simpsons has got into.
Oh, it is
from the lake.
The different color for copyright reasons.
Essentially, they've tasked you with capturing this fish because it's corrupting the waters, and it's set up like this roguelite where you go around shooting fish, and then you also can put out your fishing rod to try and catch fish. There is actual fishing mechanics in it.
Okay.
But I
can't quite see that right now.
I thought the shooting was okay, and then the fishing stuff I wasn't a big fan of. And then it was like, well, it's kind of a okay-ish to not great roguelike game, and then there's fishing mechanic that I don't really enjoy that much, and it's like, well, what's kind of the point for me in this then? I did try it.
So in between fishing, you fight fish.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know why you want to capture the fish either.
So there's no
you get money.
You
get money. Okay. So you sell them to a merchant, and that's why you want to. So these are like the enemies you fight.
Can you then buy upgrades to weapons then?
I guess, yeah. I didn't play too much. I played this for 6 minutes before I was like, you know what, I'm going to play something else. That was one thing I did this demo festival, which I was quite proud of, was if I played a game and I was like, you know what, I'm not really enjoying playing this, I kind of just stopped and played something else, because I think I played like 19 or 20 demo. No, I must have played, I wasn't counting the VR, so I played like 25 demos this demo fest, but as soon as I was like, you know what, I'll try this, but if it's not for me, I'm going to try something else. That's a good way to do it. And I think that's something I'm consciously trying to do more with just games in general, is I've got a friend who's very bad at finishing games, and I have a very big problem with finishing games that I should give up on. And I think we need to meet somewhere in the middle, where I'm like, I should drop more games, and he should finish more games, and then we'd be a lot happier in gaming.
To be clear, this friend, he gets very close to finishing.
I was very confused. Okay, can we just talk about what happened there? They dropped a red key. I was like, red key, log the fuck in, let's go. I pick it up and it damages me. I was like, what the fuck is happening? So when you pick it up, I don't know if you saw that, it briefly came up with a -1 heart, but briefly after I picked it up almost. So I guess it's like the red key from Slay the Spire that like spawn. What is the red key like? I think it makes elites harder, but gives you an extra mana if I remember correctly. Anyway, I tried to pick this up, but I was very confused because they had interact on F and not on E, so I was pressing the wrong button. But yeah, it wasn't. Oh. Another reason why I gave a heart to 6 minutes, Tony? I died, and I was like, oh, it's a roguelite. I'll do another run. And then you had to watch the entire opening cutscene, and you couldn't skip it. And I was like, this is a roguelite. You are going to be doing multiple runs over and over again, and there's an unskippable cutscene at the start of every one. Fuck this. I'm going to go and play something else. That's why I actually just gave up on this. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's a really, takes you out of the game. So I'm just going to try something else. So next up we have Slime 3K Rise Against Depot. Um, yeah, another Survivor game. This is very much you're a giant
Another one,
blob and you
great art
walk
style.
around and it shoots for you. I really like the art, and that's one of the big reasons why I actually downloaded it. Was I was like, oh, this looks really good. I've never played a Depot game. I guess that's what they're called. It's Despot. Is that how you say Depot?
Despot, yeah. Despot is like a slaving despot.
Despacito, the game.
I don't actually know how
Um,
Despot works by itself. I just know it's attached to like some Despicable, maybe. I don't know.
right. Apparently, I own Despotism 3K.
Despotism. Okay.
Yeah, it has the tags strategy, indie, sexual content, and dark humor, and I have no idea what you actually do in this game. I'm looking at the store page now.
Okay.
So yeah, I think. But wait, do you shoot in this one? I can't remember. Maybe you do shoot in this one. I think maybe you aim with the cursor, but you don't shoot. I don't know. I'll just straight up say I wasn't a big fan of this one either.
Okay.
I did think
Like,
there was some interesting stuff. Like I got these zombie build where it was like a summoner build, which sort of summons these zombies that fight for you. But again, I just felt really slow and didn't really do any damage. I was like, oh, I'm kind of just walking around, not doing anything. Also,
I think your
you had to
just prioritizes it.
you had to buy stuff from the shop, and I was like, okay, I'll buy shit, but I was like, I had no idea how I was getting money or spending it. Like, do you know how I'm getting money playing this? There was no like, there wasn't great like visual feedback to say, hey, here's money, you pick it up and you can spend this in the shop. I was like, every time I got an upgrade station, I was like, I guess I'll buy as much as I can because I have no idea. I have no concept of how much money I have or what I should buy.
Or like an animation going into a bar or like a wallet or something.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
I think it's based on the UI. Based on looking at the UI, I think it's at the top right. Is my money maybe? But
okay.
Playing it, I had no idea. So
yeah, I know this isn't in the spirit of a Survivor game, but I always look at like these huge holes and go, oh, I wish there's like these one use power ups that have like, this huge effect. That'd be so cool. Like you just wipe out a huge number.
Yeah, there isn't Vampire Survivors. It's called.
Oh, they have it as well. Okay, so why don't the other games have more of that?
It's usually a end game item. What's it called?
Okay.
See if I can find out the. It's pretty cool as well because it erases everything on the screen. So you don't want to use it. Usually you don't want to use it if there's lots of like XP and items on the screen, which is like a nice balance.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Pentagram, it's called. So Pentagram erases everything in sight. So it'll kill all the enemies, but it also erases all the XP and item power-ups that you might want. But it also, you need the pentagram to combo with another item if you want to upgrade that up to its super item. So it's like there's lots of levels to that item. That's the sort of shit that makes Vampire Survivors really cool. Is there's tons of really good ideas mixed with really cool weapons and upgrades, and it feels really good to move around and shoot stuff. And I think a lot of these new wave roguelite Survivor bullet hell games are kind of missing the magic that Vampire Survivor has. They go, oh, you just make a character that walks around and can't shoot. That should be easy. And they're kind of missing the point of what makes Vampire Survivors so good.
Yeah, they added more on top of it.
Like, it's not impossible to make a good game in the genre. Like, I love 20 Minutes Till Dawn. I think that game's great. People seem to really love Brotato as well, another one. But yeah, so far I haven't been a big fan of the Survivor games I've seen in this Next Fest or demos I've played, but let's move on to a final game of this section that I did really enjoy, which is Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. So this year I played Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, and it seems like Turnip Boy has upgraded his list of crimes to from evading taxes to robbing a bank.
Armed robbery.
Yep. So, okay, so one thing to point out, this game plays entirely in 4x3. So those decorations on the side are one of 3 selectable decorations. You can have stars, metal bars, or you can have this pattern which I picked. But you cannot make the game widescreen. It has been designed to be a 4x3 game. I don't know if that was an artistic decision or they made this game in some engine like RPG Maker or something, but that is something to point out, I'm guessing.
But still, they would have had to know how to render the sides, though, so...
I feel like it was an artistic decision just based on the fact that the art's designed to be like 4x3 pixel art.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me... Because from what I remember, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion's widescreen. Yeah, it's widescreen.
Interesting.
So, yeah. But this is also completely different from Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, because Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion is a very slow-paced item swapping quest where you essentially have to walk around. It's sort of like a Zelda sort of RPG sort of game where you have like very light combat and you're basically going around solving puzzles and figuring out who wants a certain item and then swapping it for another item until you basically pay back your debt to the mayor.
Right, okay.
This
he
game,
know you're robbing banks?
This game's very different. This is a action roguelike game. Well, there's stuff that happens in Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion that I cannot spoil here, Tony, but let's say we won't worry about the mayor anymore.
Okay.
It's a very short game. Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion. I think it took me like 3 or 4 hours or something to complete. It's like a very quick game. So I'd recommend just trying it out. So with these, the main way you basically upgrade your characters is by getting money, and basically you go into the bank and you shake down civilians, which drop money, and then you attack the guards in the bank with swords and guns, and then you also get into vaults to pick up money, and you also basically. It's kind of weird that you also have quests you get. So you're in because you're on a timer, right, until the SWAT gets summoned. I think it's about like you get like a couple of minutes in the vault inside the bank to try and break in and get as much money as possible. Then the getaway gets there. The SWAT team starts coming in. It starts spawning very hard enemies. So it's very much more fast paced than Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion because you're literally on a timer and it is set up more like this roguelike thing. But the thing I find really cool is there is still like this weird like collectathon like item swapping quest where someone's like, hey, can you take this item to this person, and then you get rewards and money from it. But
Garfield,
for example, you'll spend all this time getting to the vault. And you'll get there, and then it's like, oh shit, I forgot. We need C4 to get into the vault. So then you'll have to go back and use the money to spend money on the dark web to buy C4. And it's like, so you have to do like multiple runs to figure out the most efficient way to get into the bank, get as much money, and then unlock more of the bank. Because then there'll be like an area where there's a bunch of safes, and you can buy a laser pointer, which lets you shoot out a laser and break into the vaults, or there's this is all stuff in the demo. I don't know how long the full game's going to be, but there's these blocks in the way, so you have to buy a Minecraft pickaxe from the dark web and then use that to break the blocks to get into a different area.
Okay.
And then that unlocks like a boss fight, which ends the demo. But yeah,
okay, so it's some interesting stuff then. Okay, yeah,
it's got that weird mix of fast-paced roguelite bullet hell shooter sort of thing. It's not really a bullet hell, like it's very slow paced, the actual combat, but it with a mix of like a collect quest puzzle Zelda-y sort of game, and it is very unique in that sense, I will say. And it's quite fun. Like I found myself just going, oh, I'm going to grab a bunch of money, and then I can buy this thing off the dark web, which will let me solve this puzzle, and then I can go back in again. I can get more money. Like it's quite a satisfying loop. This game, and I think
the roguelike element is more like you're trying to get in. You have different more tools to solve the game. That's very unique. I've not seen that before. It's kind of like it's like roguelike with metal. I don't know if Metroidvania is the correct word, but like.
So somebody asked on the Steam forums if it will be 16:9 release, and they said it's the design choice to have the game in 4:3 aspect with sidebars. I mean, we've seen this before, like Mortis. What was it? Faith from New Blood. We had those wonderful art sidebars for the 4:3 gameplay. Like sometimes having a certain perspective is a artistic choice.
I think it changes like what you can see in things, so maybe it's like to do with how it's displaying, or how it's getting information from the world.
But playing this, I was like, this is really fun. I kind of hope this is not half the game. Like, I kind of hope I didn't play half the game by playing the demo. Like, I hope it is there's a bit more to it than what we've seen in the demo, because the demo is really good, but I know how short the first game was. It was like 3 to 4 hours long. And I could see myself just blasting through this game very quickly if there's not a lot more content being held back. So we'll have to wait for the full release to see how much content is inside this game. But nevertheless, it is some very really fun, engaging content.
Yeah.
Somebody says robbing a bank is not nearly as based as tax evasion. I hope they fix this in the third one. Turnip Boy stabs a pedophile while in prison. Turnip Boy commits a war crime when? Turnip Boy violates the Geneva Convention. Guys, they've got so many ideas for the next Turnip Boy game. Get ready to come back and have a look what's next in the Turnip Boy cinematic universe.
Would it just be Turnip Boy escapes a prison? Wouldn't that be the next one?
No. But yeah.
Or escapes the feds.
That's the roguelite survivor games that I played in the Next Fest. Again, at the end of this, I will say my favorite demos I played. Tony will put a timestamp on the final video, which I think... Ooh, I don't know what the final video will be. I don't have it pulled. But I will tell you in the... When you see the final video, you will know it's the final video, because you will see the favorite games timestamp. But, yep. I'll be back to talk about more genres. The other genres are a bit more of a mix match, so they might be a bit over the place, but hopefully there's some more interesting stuff that you want to hear about. So we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.